What's up, Cloud Gamers? Welcome to another episode of CGX Cast. This is a cloud gaming podcast. So today we have some pretty good news when it comes to cloud gaming, so we'll try to cover all of that. We're going to go without any guests this week. I think it's going to be pretty cool just to chat with the panel and get the reactions to the cloud gaming news this week. So if you guys didn't know, we're going to cover Google Stadia. They released two games. They announced two games coming to the platform today, with the pro games being announced. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about GeForce now with the 22 games and a huge game with Biomutant. A lot of us on here have tried that game, so we'll be talking about that game as well. We'll be talking about Amazon Luna giving us the June roadmap as well, with some pretty cool games on there. So we'll discuss that. And then also xCloud always just giving us their weekly game releases. But man, so much to talk about. Let's get right into it. Let's check in with the panel, see how everyone's doing, see what they're playing, see what platform that they're using to play these games on. So to get started, Gamer TV, how you been, sir? What you been playing, and also what platform have you been using?
Oh, I've been great, man. Thanks for asking. Honestly, I'm playing Biomutant. I haven't touched anything else. I can't.
Okay.
There's something about this game that just drives you, and you want to find everything and do everything. So I've spent all my time here across GFN and locally on my PC in 4K. So running this game native 4K, it just cannot be beaten. I love GFN, but God, man, when I'm at home sitting behind my desk, yeah, I'm local with this game. Yeah, but that's
So,
about it, man. Just totally into Biomutant.
okay, cool. Yeah, that game is really fun. And so we're going to get to it heavily. Again, it's going to be a huge discussion piece when we talk about GeForce Now. But I did want to ask you, did you watch the Horizon Zero Dawn State of Play showcase?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, man.
Okay.
That's just phenomenal.
Yeah. So something that I was getting for some people is like graphically, right? Biomutant, some people are saying looks kind of as good as Horizon. Would you say that's pretty accurate, or would you say that's stretching
I,
it
I,
too
I
far?
would say that's about 60 to 70% accurate.
Oh,
I
okay.
mean, Biomutant looks great. If you talk about environments and
Yeah.
then the effects and the way these guys really pulled it all together with the overall look and feel of the game, I think it's very close. But there are a few graphical processes happening in Horizons that it's next gen. It can't really be touched.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just real quick, I know this is not a Horizon podcast in place, but like, what did you see those next? Because I saw when they broke, when she shot that bow
Mhm.
and the thing
Yeah.
broke and everything scattered. I was like, yo,
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
looks
that
great.
that was,
But
that was gorgeous. But for
yeah.
me, what really stood out is there's a scene where she's swimming in the
Oh,
water,
yeah.
and her hair. Every strand of hair
Ooh,
has its own physics process going on, and
okay.
you just can't. You need processing power to pull that off properly, and
Okay.
you see it. It's gorgeous. For me, that little small detail let me know that next gen games are coming, and we haven't seen anything yet. Anything.
That's awesome. I wasn't even paying attention to that much
Yeah,
detail,
check
but
that
yeah.
check that scene out, man. It's
Okay.
pretty crazy.
All right. Might have to run that back and just keep an eye on that for sure. Cool. Gamer TV is good to have you, man, for sure.
Thanks, man.
Yeah. Duncan, how are you, sir? What have you been playing? Also, what platform have you been using to play it?
Okay, I've been playing some X-Ray with Sea of Thieves when I haven't been able to play on my Xbox. I have been playing a load of GFN this over the last couple of weeks, and I think it is definitely kicking on there. I think everything's nice and settled there, and there's an absolute ton of fun games to play. I've been messing about with some planet-based on there. I've been going completely another way old school, and the cake is a lie, and I've been playing some Portal. So it's
Okay.
just to try it out in GFN. This is what I like. You can just go drop back into these old games on there as well and just play away. I've done my little bit of Stadia as well with some F1. Yes, I'm doing that in secret because I have to keep my reflexes sharp because you don't know what's going to be happening down the line. But I've had a real good week playing games.
That's awesome. Good to hear you playing GFN and sneaking Stadia in there a little bit, right? That's awesome. F1. Good stuff. How about you, GTP? What have you been up to, sir? What have you been playing? What platform?
So Biomutant is pretty much what I've been into, but being so busy, I'm probably only like 20, 22 hours in, but yeah, it's one of those games I'll wind up beating. It's rare. I don't have much time. I think Assassin's Creed Odyssey is the last game I could say like I truly beat. Like I put like 168 hours into that.
Wow.
That was before I started YouTube, so that doesn't happen now. That's been mostly on GeForce now, but like Gamer TV said, 4K also just looks phenomenal. So I've been able to do some of that locally, but mostly with max settings on the 2080 rig. 4K stays above 60 FPS the whole time and streams in 4K on Moonlight. So that's also been a really good experience for Biomutant. And besides that, I'm getting really addicted to Knockout City on the Xbox.
Dude.
I just when I have a few minutes, I pick it up and I can't stop. Really loving it.
That's crazy. That seems to be the game that most people are talking about now,
Yeah.
Knockout City.
Yeah, just the sound of the dodgeball bonking them in the head and then they're KO'd out. It's so satisfying.
Did EA make that, right?
It's a EA original, or
Oh,
at least
wow.
so. I don't know who the other publishers or developers are, but yeah.
Okay. Wow, that's cool. Yeah, I was trying to play that game and I couldn't. That's why I was like DMing you guys. Couldn't find where to actually pick it up. But yeah, we'll have to check that one out too. But good to see you playing Bio as well. We'll have a big discussion piece and can't wait to get your take on that game for sure. Hell Monkey, sir, how have you been? What have you been playing? What platform?
Yeah, thanks, Ace. Biomutant, of course, and I just knocked my desk. Apologies. But we'll talk about that later. Apart from that, I jumped back into Middle Earth: Shadow of War because now that we have max settings all set up, I can finally play that game at a steady frame rate that's not choppy, and that 2080 Super Rig plays that game absolutely beautifully, man. I'm just so happy that I can play it again, and the 100 odd gigabytes isn't taking up any more space on my local rig. It's superb. It's absolutely brilliant. Apart from that, I've dropped into Naya again because I've still got 5 different endings to get to, and I'm nearly at the second one again. But I don't even mind that I'm replaying it, man, because the music's great.
Yeah.
The combat's great, and I just love everything about that game. A game hasn't drew me in like that in quite a while. I think the last franchise that drew me in like that was probably Gears of War. So yeah, I'm absolutely loving that. Absolutely loving it. What else have I been playing? Imagine Earth, that planet simulation style game. Very good game. I would highly recommend that. If anyone likes the RTS simulation games, the planets that the guys have created in that game are absolutely beautiful, and it's a really challenging game as well. The further you go in, and you can play it locally, multiplayer, set up your own servers. You've got so much to do. It's well worth it. It's like $15 right now, and I would say it's $15 well spent if you were to get it.
And that's on GFN? You playing that on?
Yeah, on GFN. Yeah, on GFN. Yeah, because I just landed this week.
That's awesome. Awesome. Cool. Good to hear all that you guys have been playing. So I've been using Shadow a lot lately. I've been on the fence, to know if I should keep it or not, right? Because again, I have 2 of them and I am going to shut one down, but I'm going to keep one because Shadow, I know the price increase and I know a lot of people are upset about that, but there's still nothing like it. And this weekend, I would say this week, that's pretty much what I've discovered, that nothing else can replace it, man. It just does virtual PC better than anyone else. And when it, graphically, I get it, it's only a 1080p rig, but I mean, 1080 rig, true, but it still runs games pretty well. It's still running Kingdom Hearts on their Days Gone, and those games are running medium to high settings pretty well. So I played a lot of Shadow this week, trying to finish Kingdom Hearts 3 on it. It's been a lot of fun. But that's it. Mostly, I haven't played Stadia or GeForce. Well, what am I talking about? Biomutant for sure. GeForce Now. We'll get to that. But apart from those two games, not much. But all right, fellas, that is what we've been playing. That is the introduction to the panel members. So let's get into the cloud gaming news for this week. Luna, we'll start with that. They gave us kind of the June lineup of games coming, right? And I'm so curious to get y'all's take on these games, because again, the pattern continues with them just focusing on Japanese based studio games, right? So again, can't wait to get y'all's take. But Yakuza 0 is one of the games coming for the month of June. Killer Queen Black, again, this has been released on Google Stadia, I believe on Game Pass as well, not too sure. And then the Falconer, which is a game that out of all those games really has my attention right now. But let's check in with the panel members, see what your thoughts are in these games. Are you guys excited about it? Is this a good get for the Luna platform? So to get started, GTP, what's your take on these games? Oh, sorry. To also announce the rest of the games released on this platform with Trials of Coastal 4, right? And Overcooked 2 being the second game they released this week. So we have that on top of the announcement for the month of June. So GTP, what's your take on these releases?
Yeah, it's been a good May for Luna, and this isn't a ton of games for June. I'm thinking we'll see some more Ubisoft Connect channel games thrown in there,
Right.
like we did in May. They don't. I see that Luna's not taking it upon themselves to announce those games necessarily. It's more about the Luna Plus channel, their own channel that they're doing these roadmaps for. But yeah, I saw a lot of people happy about Yakuza coming. Killer Queen Black, like you said, was a Game Pass and a Stadia game already. And then you've got Falconer, which is another. I haven't played it, but the reviews on that game, and I know it already has a huge following. Again, early access, $5.99 a month.
Yeah.
I will play all three of these games as they come out on Luna and check them out, because I never either wanted to purchase them elsewhere, didn't have time to play them. And for me, Luna just works really well. Between the controller, the different devices, and the Fire TVs in the house and things like that, I find myself kind of gravitating towards and jumping on Luna for certain games here and there for quick plays. But definitely good for them. And I was happy to see too, jumping in your stream the other day, because I jumped in right when you were talking about Luna, and again you're talking about how you'll be playing Luna that day, like it had, because for you in the beginning, Luna was kind of a nah, not right now, they're not there, and I see that they're really kind of bringing you over, and it's really cool to see.
Yeah, for sure. They're definitely growing on me, and like I would talk more about this. We'll talk about like EA, right, as a potential channel, and I would definitely love to hear y'all's feedback on that. But yeah, Luna definitely is growing on me for sure. But let's check in with Duncan. What's your take on, again, I know y'all still don't have access to it, but as a whole, right, what's your take on Luna just getting these games and the games released for this week?
Yeah, again, it is Luna being Luna and picking out these games which have appeal to gamers out there who may have not actually played it. Clever pickups, yet again. And I think that's what we normally say about Luna. There seems to be thought, there seems to be creation. It isn't just grab absolutely everything under the sun. So Yakuza is probably the big name out from that one. Again, people are crying out for Yakuza on all the different sort of platforms going. Strangely enough, it's not on Switch systems, so they could maybe go for a wee push there, because I actually discovered this week. They're not Nintendo are blocking it. It isn't Sega not bringing it. It is Nintendo actually blocking it because of Yakuza.
Oh,
No,
really?
because of the name. Oh, there's Hell Monkey going, what? Yeah, anything to do with the Yakuza, do the things they go, we're not touching that, so that they could actually do.
Oh,
So they could actually go for a bit of a push there. But again, I'm happy enough if these coming. And when it comes out over here, you can just see the library is just building up nicely. $6 a month, you can't say no to that. It's
right.
just it's the perfect sort of price point. And then we've discussed it over and over again. When they drop it into Prime or whatever way they're going to do it with Prime, it's just going to make it even more appealing. So it's going to be fun.
Okay.
But I'm happy enough.
Okay. Good to hear. Good to hear. Again, I cannot wait for you guys to get this over there, man. I know you guys have been waiting patiently, so I can't wait for you to test it out. I think Luna is gonna hit big when it goes to UK and all over the rest of the world. But cool. Gaming TV, what's your take on Luna June lineup, and also what's your take on these two games releasing for the platform this week?
Yeah, man. I think, as Duncan mentioned, curation is such a great word to use, right? It actually seems like they have a team standing by, assessing what to bring to the platform, in what
Right.
order, when they should actually release it, and it's very methodical, and there's a strategy to it. I appreciate that because I've sat in on a lot of meetings where things were just thrown onto a whiteboard, and they're like, okay, let's see what sticks. And that seems to be the opposite of what Amazon is doing with Luna currently. It's a little slow rolling for my liking. I'd like for them to put the pedal to the metal just a little bit more. But from what I've seen, it's very easy to bring these games over to Luna. Now, when I say very easy, I mean in comparison to bringing a game over to Stadia, where everything has to be built from the ground up. You have different APIs that have to communicate over and use different utilities to translate the information properly. But with Luna, it's pretty much it's a plug and play deal, and they can bring more AAA games if they'd like a lot sooner. I mean, on the level of GFN, they can bring 22 games to Luna tomorrow if they wanted to, but they're intentionally going away from that for some reason. I don't know what it is exactly, but they aren't moving towards that direction. But the games that were announced are fantastic and really bolster the lineup at $5.99. You can't beat that to try games like this. So just to try, and that says a lot towards the subscription model. While I would like a combination, but it does say a lot towards that model. For $5.99, I get to try these games, and if I don't like them, fine, no money lost. It's okay. If I love them, then great, I win. So
Right.
I think it's a huge benefit to Luna's lineup.
Yeah. True. And you guys have seen this game playing, man. This game looks absolutely incredible, man. And I'll get to my piece. Hell Monkey, what's your take on Luna getting these two games this week, and also the June lineup of games?
Yeah, very good. Like the guys already said, it seems pretty strategic and well planned out. So I'm looking at the games that came this month, and so like you had the wonderful 101, Rad, and Rogue Heroes, which is all very good, solid games. But then you had the big one, Trails of Cold Steel 4. That's a $60, $70 game, part of a fantastic JRPG series. And then you look at what they've announced for June: Yakuza 0, solid game. Killer Queen Black, great library filler. The Falconer is one I hadn't heard of, but like you guys, that looks like something I want to try out. Like, it's something different from what we normally see. And it said in the blog that they're looking forward to sharing more, so I think we're going to get something, something along the lines of the Trails of Cold Steel 4, possibly. So like they maybe have like the 3 solid games, and then they have like the one standout game per month. But like the other guys, I want this in my hands, man. I live in the UK. I don't live in like some far territory that doesn't have internet or nothing, I don't see a reason why the beta can't expand into Europe. Like that's the biggest disappointment right now. I think a beta test should expand to as many regions as possible, even if it is just limited, even if there's only, say, X amount in the UK. If I don't get it, I don't get it, but at least I know it's in the hands of people over here and they're getting a chance to test it and see how it works. So apart from that, they're doing good, but they're overusing this beta tag for my liking right now, and I hope that changes.
I can agree more, but I'm sure some of the guys on here might disagree. But yeah, great take on that for sure. So I want to expand in some conversation with Luna. As you guys were talking, a couple of things just came to me that I want to ask the panel and see what y'all's take is, right? So we know June is a big month for gaming. June is E3, right? Most of these companies are going to have shows and to showcase what's coming for the platform. Just want to open this up to you guys. Do you feel like Luna is going to showcase something this month, June? Again, people in UK, you guys got your early access email. Do you think this might be the month where they're like, all right, we're going to expand to more countries? Just going to open this up. E3's this month. Do you think we're going to hear anything from Luna regarding E3?
I mean, I would like to think so because I believe, and I'm just going to double check this, but I believe I've seen Amazon's logo for the Summer Games Fest.
Were they on there?
Amazon Games is there.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm expecting that probably just to be New World rather than Luna.
Yeah, see, I was thinking that as well, but Ace, you just put that little, that you planted that seed as well, because New World isn't far away. Will we see them launch New World onto Luna and then into more countries? That's the hope for me, but I don't know. I'm just guessing and hoping right there. So I am.
Okay. Anyone else? E3?
I'm not going to say it's going to be an E3 announcement from Luna themselves, but as Hellmonkey said in that blog post, we're hoping to share more soon or whatever it is there. I'm thinking maybe EA may drop something during their thing, and maybe the Sleeping Giant out there, and they've just announced one or part of one in Clock Media, who's part of what's the name of the big massive organization they're with. It's just went completely out from my head.
Tencent?
No, it's not Tencent. I wouldn't be surprised if they maybe drop a channel because they've got the amount of games to do that. Who are they? Again, it's going to annoy me here. I'm just double checking it here. But they've got an absolute stack of games, and they've just announced a new. They're doing a show now, so I would be liking them to maybe drop in because I could drop in like all the Saints Rows and things like that because they've got enough there and have it as a value sort of channel.
Okay. I'm glad you said that because we're going to talk about channels next and, what possible channels we can see releasing Luna next that might make noise. So good conversation piece for our next discussion. But yeah, anyone else, Gaming TV? What are your thoughts about Luna and E3?
I think I don't believe they'll drop any major news around the E3 time, but I think maybe within a few weeks of E3, they might drop that they're expanding, and they'll probably bring on a new partner or a new channel of some sort, even if this new channel isn't necessarily a third-party partner. It could be something internal that they create and curate new content towards that channel that's a part of Luna Plus maybe. From what I've seen, they're progressively getting better at releasing AAA titles or AA titles. So I think they'll announce something about a new AAA title soon. Coming to Luna day and date with other platforms, which is something that I've been missing with Luna. It would have been nice if they could, step up to GFN's level and start dropping these titles on us, day and date. That'll really drive me to stay within the Luna eco a lot more.
Yeah.
because right now I'm pretty much using Luna for my Ubisoft Plus. That's kind of about it. Then I'll stray and jump into something in the Luna Plus channel, check it out, jump back out, and I'm right back into Ubisoft Plus. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, so when you say bring a game same day release, are you talking about like Game Pass approach with Outriders and like ML, because it is a subscription based model
Yep.
when you talk about Luna Plus.
Yep.
Are
Absolutely.
you okay? Are you thinking about like what Bill was saying when he was here last week about them, charging for games, right? Would that be what you're hoping for, or again, just
Yeah. I think we're gonna see a combination of both at some point. I think Luna, they'll keep their subscription model because that's the future. That's the way everything's going, and they should. But I also believe you'll be able to purchase games down the line at some point. And I believe that'll happen after this entire beta process is over. They'll
okay,
introduce it and bring it in because it just makes sense to give people what they want if you
right,
can. You don't have
right.
to force anyone down a path. Just do what you want.
Truth, truth. Okay, fair enough. GTP, anything to add to this before we go ahead?
I mean, I basically same as everybody here. I've kind of been saying they've got I don't know about E3, but sometime in June they have to start their expansion if New World's going to be part of the Luna Plus channel August 31st. If New World is gonna be on there, they've got to start the expanding and they've got to come out of beta by then. Otherwise, I'm not sure how great that's going to be. So like Gamer is saying, they're going to have to start pushing it just a little bit faster because they've only got 3 months left. So if they're going to make that kind of a deadline. But yeah, Luna is a hybrid. So I swear it's just like they watch what GFN's been doing, what Stadia's been doing, what everybody else has been doing. They're like, okay, we're going to take a little bit of all the goodies
Yeah,
and put them together. I mean, you've got ported games, you've got PC games that launch like GeForce now, you've got a subscription model where you play the games, and then they'll add a purchase model as well. And it'll just be a place you can come and game however you want to. You can just
yeah,
subscribe and get games as they come and go. You could buy them. I really think they're going for that Frankenstein approach where the more the merrier, and however you like to do it. If you want to buy or if you want to subscribe or whatever you want to do, I think that's what they're going for.
cool. All right, so let's speculate a little bit, right? Let's guess or have fun with this, what the next Luna channel can potentially be. Or to go even a step farther, what would you want to see be the next Luna channel? So again, just going to open this up. This is just improv. Start with Duncan as you drink.
Yep.
What would you-
I'm going to be boring and go predictable and say, or maybe not so predictable, the one which leaked there a couple of weeks ago on the Family Channel.
Oh, come on. You gotta give us more than that, man.
No, I think the safe one is probably EA. I think everybody will be saying EA, but if you want to go for something out there, it's a, I do think we may get something weird and wacky, and we're going to get a channel which we're not going to go for. So I'll everybody's going to say EA, so I won't see EA. I'll go default for digital.
Ooh, okay.
So I'll go for that because they could be strange and do stuff like that.
Okay. Fair enough. Let's keep our eyes open for that one and see if Duncan is right with that being the next Luna channel. Right. How about you, GTP? What would you want to see come channel wise? And also, what do you think we will see channel wise?
There's such a ton of potential with this kind of business model with the channels and subscribe and unsubscribe and pick things up as you want. So I really don't know. I know what I want to see, and it is the predictable one, is EA. And the reason for it is because just like Ubisoft Connect, I already paid for it. So I had that for PC, then they added it to Luna, and then they added it to Stadia. So for my same subscription price that I paid for PC, I all of a sudden could play those games in 2 other spots in the cloud. And so I already have EA Play Pro. We pretty much all do. And add that one, and for no more money, again, I'll have access to the games they're throwing over there. So for me, even though it is, yes, the predictable one, EA is the one I want next. After that, there's all kinds of goodies that can come, but that's the one I want because I already pay a subscription to that, and I know it'll be included.
Yeah, true. So there's different EA variants, right? You have EA Play, you have EA Play Pro, and EA Play Pro is Windows based, right? And we know that Luna is kind of in the Windows ecosystem, so that would be a easy. I don't know if easy is the word, but it makes sense for that to be a channel, right? I mean, like Ubisoft Connect, just yeah. So realistically, how likely do you think it'll be that we see EA Play Pro come as a Luna channel?
I think it would be realistic to think that could come this year if they're actually going to be trying to come out of beta and they need to add some bigger channels. Ubisoft is great, but we're going to need more, and I think EA would really help with that. So I think this year, I think you are likely to see it. But like Duncan said, we're also going to see some other smaller channels start popping up and kind of fill out a family channel. Some other smaller publishers, maybe a retro channel like Antstream, but something different.
Cool.
There's a lot of possibilities there. But just EA's the next one that stands out like the likely one, and they're already in Game Pass. Ubisoft's supposed to go to Game Pass by the end of the year. So since Luna already has them, I'm thinking the opposite will happen, and they'll get EA on Luna. Game Pass will get Ubisoft, and pretty much you'll have EA and Ubisoft everywhere you go.
That's cool.
So
that's cool. Awesome. Gamer TV, how about you? What's your take on this?
Yeah, so those are the obvious choices, 100%, and I'd agree with all of those, right? I mean, GTP, you're right, man. That's EA. I mean, hands down, it's most likely the next channel. But I'm gonna go far left here and say Square. I think something with Square might be in the works with Amazon, and that'd be a huge win and a big get if they're looking to really splash, go that route and make it happen. So that's my pick.
What would that look like? Again, we see these channel like Ubisoft Connect, we see channels like EA Play Pro. It makes sense. Again, it's already out there. Because Square doesn't have anything similar to like an Ubisoft Connect. So what would that look like? Would that just be all the latest random games like in the channel, or how do you see that playing out if Square is the next?
Yeah, I would just see it as a collection of games. It's easy. It's super easy to port these games over to Luna. So you can have all of the latest great games, including Avengers and all of this stuff, Outriders. You can throw all of that in there and just have fun with it.
I'll chuck you a game here. Final Fantasy 14.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that'd be a huge get. Just port them over. You don't need Square doesn't need an existing platform, right? Because Luna is the platform. Just send us the games. We'll make the channel and throw them in. That's it.
Huh. Interesting. And again, the simplicity. It sounds simple when we say it, but realistically speaking, it's a lot easier to do for a platform like Luna than something like Stadia, right? Because again, Stadia, you would have to create this from ground up, where Luna is already a Windows based, and you can just easily port it there.
Right? Yeah, these games are already optimized for Windows, and it's extremely easy. The thing with Stadia, I won't say the development is hard for these guys at this point. It's still kind of new, using the utilities and the porting tools and transitioning everything over properly. But then the bigger issue is optimizing the tools, optimizing with the tools. That's where the issues come in. Guys aren't really that familiar with optimizing on top of Linux and the tools that Stadia is using over there versus Windows. I mean, they know that all day, every day. So, that's why these games come out for Luna and GFN so optimized versus their Stadia counterparts.
Okay, fair enough. And again, thanks for clarifying that and explaining it. But I just want to showcase here, this is EA Play Pro for PC, and this is what GTP was talking about, it being the next channel for potential next channel for Luna, right? again, these games are all out here for PC with EA Play Pro. Just think about like your Ubisoft Connect. EA has something similar, right? Again, the latest and greatest on here, Knockout City just came out, Mass Effect Legendary. So, from what I take from this, is this same day release like Ubisoft Connect when EA releases a game is instantly here,
Yeah,
right?
it's day one exclusives, yeah, just like Ubisoft
To
Connect, just like Game Pass. And it's not just the day one exclusives. If you go down through all the games that you can play, they're way back to like
yeah,
the 90s. Like there's tons of games you can play with EA Play Pro. Or even EA Play. EA Play doesn't have the newest day and date releases. They're like 3 to 9 months down the road that they get added to the vault, which is what Game Pass has.
okay. Good stuff, man. Again, I'm hoping that this does become the next channel. I mean, my goodness, think about the number of games that would add to Luna's catalog of games, right? So we're not just waiting for like individual release, like we are with Google Stadia. When is FIFA coming? When is Madden coming? This is just all of it at once. Potential like we seen with Ubisoft Connect, and then same day release whenever they do decide to announce a game. Stay tuned to EA's E3 conference too, right? Because those are games that are going to be new and potentially, if this comes, would be making their way to Amazon Luna as well. Okay, cool. Anyone else, Monkey? Did we get to you and your take on channels you would like to see come to Luna?
Well, Gamer TV just gave us an idea. Like when he mentioned Square Enix, we see Luna sort of adopting these Japanese types of games, and Square Enix has a lot of them. So I definitely think that's something they could do. But I'm going to go far left or far right, and say Warner Brothers games. They have some great games on there, and I think would make a great channel. From the Middle Earth games to Harry Potter games to the Lego games, there's a bit of something in there for everybody. So yeah, just speculate. That's probably sort of selfish from me. I'd like to see that see that channel on there, and I can't even play it but right now. So yeah, possibly even a Sega channel.
Oh, yeah.
Again, with this, the sort of Japanese connections that we sort of see from Amazon. Listen, they're in a position where the reach that they have and the amount of customers they have that they can drop this onto, with Prime, is definitely a beneficial factor for potential developers coming on board to make these channels and publishers, I think. Time will tell just how quickly and how many people is going to adopt the cloud, because it's just such a small percentage right now. It's going to grow. Depending on how fast it grows, it's going to depend what type of channels and when we see them, I think. But it's inevitable.
Okay. So it's so cool just hearing you guys talk about channels that you want to see come to Luna. And again, this is what I think has me, but I'm sure most of you guys on this panel really excited about this platform. This endless possibility, like GTP was saying, this can be a hybrid of they have so many things. They have channels that can be a thing. Again, they can go the Stadia route to offer, right, purchasing games. I don't know how that's all going to play out, but you have that going for you as well. And then there's just so many cool channels that can be a part of Luna's ecosystem with Square Enix, with EA. We can even talk about like Capcom. Monkey was saying WB. I mean, endless possibility, and then just so many cool things. Anyway, I think I'm really excited about Luna, and I think a lot of people here are excited about Luna. And I always say this, and people might hate me for saying it, but I think Luna might actually end up being what Google Stadia originally planned to be. But let's see how this plays out. This is going to be an interesting year for the platform. I do have to say though, one thing with Luna, that I think they need to, if they can get 4K going for this platform, I mean, it runs okay and looks good in 1080, but I would really love to see 4K. If they can get 4K, get more channels, man, I think Luna is going to be a problem.
Yeah, big problem.
This year for sure.
I mean, think about one last point to add about those guys. Think about it: 140 million Prime subs, right?
Dude.
If you take 10% of that, that's like 14 million people.
Yep.
Like, and that's a small number. 10%. That's like that's failing. You know, out of 140 million.
Yeah.
But think about that. That's, you know, worst case scenario, we get 10% of these subscribers to play Luna. Come on, man. That's 14 million instant users. Instant. Like, there's no way to you know, deny the power of Amazon.
For sure. Yeah, really exciting stuff, man. You guys stay tuned. Again,
Can I throw a week? I'm going to throw a little curveball in here about Amazon and Luna as well. With them buying MGM this year, or Amazon, just think what games they could bring, because they've got the IP for that now. There is something.
I saw that, yeah.
No. So that's what I'm interested to see, if they're going to go down and start making games from with the new IP they've got.
You're talking about like GoldenEye 007 games, right? Let's go. How cool is that?
Don't tease me. Don't tease me. just bring back the original GoldenEye and I'll be happy. Just give me that back.
Remastered, right?
Yeah.
That would be cool, man. Again, just keep your eyes on Luna, man. Pay close attention, because good things are gonna happen with this platform, man. It's so funny because like no one is excited about it right now. When the G2P, I'm sure you're aware of this, but when you cover it news wise or gameplay wise, there's hardly any views. But I think that's gonna change once they start marketing this. Once again, it comes out of beta. Once more channels becomes available for this, so pay close attention to Luna, y'all. But let's move on to GeForce now, right? 22 games was released for this platform, and the biggest one, of course, is Biomutant, which I think most of us on here have played this game. So let's start with that, then we'll talk about the other games that was released. But what's your take on Biomutant? Have you I'm not even gonna ask, have you played it? I know you guys have played it, but you haven't yet, Duncan. Great, we'll start with you on this one. So what's your take on it? Do you plan on playing it? And if no, why?
I have not played it. I actually gave our review copy, which we received off GFN to Barry, and Barry is absolutely loving it. He is saying this is his game of the year so far.
Oh, wow.
And that is actually including games like Resident Evil. He beat Resident Evil as well. So he is really, really enjoying it. It is on my list to play, but I haven't as yet played it. Really, really interesting. I'm not sure if anybody else seen the tweet by Biomutant here, their Twitter account. They're going in to make some changes due to the feedback they've been getting. So that is they're going to making some tweaks to some of the gameplay and stuff like that as well. So that is good to see. It seems to be real Marmite game. You love it or you hate it, and I'm not going to start any conspiracy theories here, but it seems like the bigger websites and YouTubers seem to hate it, and the smaller ones, or relatively smaller ones, seem to be loving it. I don't know what is going on there, but it's just really mixed again.
Yeah. You know, there's been rumors and speculation. Again, I can't speak for these people, but I'm glad you brought that up. But there are rumors that reviewers were paid to bash this game. Not saying that's accurate, but I just find it interesting, the mixed reaction, right?
It does happen though.
Yeah, for sure. But it's interesting when you actually read the review or watch the people who really, you know, played this game inside out. It seems mostly positive, and then, you know, again, if you're reviewing, trying to get a review up to get to the next game, this might be like, anyway, I'm not gonna speculate here, but let's check in with GTP. What's your take on Biomutant, man?
We're a world that has become so spoiled by how good movies and gaming and everything is anymore compared to what we had way back in the 80s and 90s and stuff, that like it's so easy to scrutinize it. I stopped looking at reviews for games and movies so long ago as far as like steering me any direction. If you look at, like you said, gamers, real gamers playing this game, they love it. The
Yeah.
game has a ton of charm. It's my game of the year as well. As far as just so far what I've played this year, what I have like stolen time away from life to play.
Yeah.
I just keep wanting to go back. Like I said, that in Knockout City, but Biomutant has that fun when you play a game that you're supposed to have. And it's not overwhelming, but it's not too watered down. It's things are a little cheesy here and there, but then they pull it back and it's not too much. It's just a lot of fun and really satisfying to play. And also on top of that, just as a nerd for all the testing and stuff, this game captured me quickly when I saw how well it ran everywhere. They really dialed back the CPU usage on this thing to where like you can run it on some really old hardware compared to a lot of newer games that come out that look that good.
Yeah.
I was even running the game on an old 1050 Ti build from 2016, just kind of messing around. And while you're not going to run that maxed out, I still ran it at 1440p, like medium-ish settings at like 40 frames or higher, and it still looked great. I was like, this is amazing, and it wasn't even hitting my old CPU. So I just fell in love with just the way the game's made, the optimization of the game, how well it runs everywhere, and then just the charm and fun of it. I think it's a great game. I would have liked to seen it come to more places. I think it would have been good for a lot more platforms, even better than Resident Evil. But yeah, definitely one of my favorites so far this year.
Cool. Again, two people have said game of the year-ish type caliber game. So interesting. How about you, Game TV? What's your take on Biomutant?
Well, make that 3 people. this is hands down my game of the year.
Wow.
And I've played everything, and you know, there, as Jerry said, man, there's a charm in this game, and it doesn't overwhelm you. It's something you can pick up whenever and just have a good gaming experience. You can choose to take on the game how you'd like, which is a lot of fun. They've added so many ways to move around the world and the environments, and it keeps you interested. It isn't just jumping into a car and driving all over the place. This is you can fly there, you can float there, you can ride there, you can run there. There are so many different things going on here. And if you don't have something, you can go get it. You're like, oh man, there's a helipad that I do not have, and I think that'll be pretty cool to just explore with. Let me go grab it. You do the mission tree, and you get the helipad, and now you're like, oh wow, this is an entirely different experience at this point. Right. So that's the beauty of this game. I mean, graphically, it's gorgeous. So I read a review, and one guy, he's like, oh no, the graphics are horrible. It's just, I'm like, did you play this game? Yeah. Really? Yeah. No, the graphics are gorgeous. I mean, the way the rays, the sun rays are, the reflections, everything works top notch in this game. I don't care if it was developed by a team of 20 people or 200 people. You cannot tell the difference. Yeah. So kudos to those developers, all 20 of them. They did a bang up job with this, and I can't see myself playing anything right now for the month of June outside of maybe Yakuza, but anything else, no. This has me.
Wow, interesting here. So you said only 20 devs worked in this? Holy crap.
Yeah, man, serious? 20 devs. Yep, 20.
Wow. It's a lot of kudos to them, man. They definitely, this game, again, to me personally, it feels like a AA, AAA caliber type of game. And to have only 20 people, it's actually really impressive. Mm-hmm. Cool, man. All right, Hell Monkey, what's your take on this game,
man? Not my personal game of the year. I think it's just missing a couple of things. A little bit more content, which will probably come. I think the way I described it was it's a great entry level sort of open world RPG. So if you've never dipped your toe into this genre before, it brings you in there very nicely. It's not. I don't find the combat very difficult. I really enjoy the combat. I see people absolutely slating the combat like it's boring. It's the same thing over and over. And I'm like, have you went into the menus and looked at all the different combos you can do with all the different weapons, with all the different mutations? Like, I'm like you guys, I don't understand. The people that have been paid to review this have absolutely slated it. And us gamers that just enjoy games are absolutely loving it. I really like the game. I think it's good. The dialogue, that wore thin with me pretty quickly though. They're addressing that though, like Duncan said, they're going to address that. They're going to change up some settings. So yeah, listen, 20 dudes in Scandinavia produced this absolutely fantastic and beautiful game for us, and they're going to make it better than it already is. They've already said they're going to start working on that. So yeah, I think adding a wee bit more content, and I think we could have a really, really brilliant game for this year. Like, it's only not a AAA game because of budget, but what these guys have done, I think they've took the best of the last gen software, not obviously PS5 and Xbox Series X out the question. They've took the best of last gen and made an absolutely fantastic game, and I'm excited to see what they do with the new hardware for this generation, because if they can do that and the optimization they've done on that game, running on a potato basically, I can't wait to see what they can do. I think it's going to be really interesting to see what they produce next.
True. Yeah, good to hear your take on that. So I would have to say the story is probably the one thing that I think they need to do better at. Combat is interesting that some people like this game doesn't have a good combat system. Just like you, Hellmonkey, I'm like, how far did you get in the game, right? Because again, once you start like mixing your shooting with your abilities, it's a madhouse, man, of fun. So yeah, I love the gameplay element. I love the graphics. The graphics, like from the get go, gets you right when you just encounter that big old boss, like right in the beginning. It's like, holy crap! Like this is well optimized and it looks really really good. And Monkey, I believe you were playing on your 1060 rig, right? And you were like, man, this is well optimized for my old laptop.
Yeah, so like what Jerry was saying, he was 1440 on was it 1050, Jerry? Well, I've got a 1650 I GTX, and the CPU in this laptop's absolutely dreadful. That's one of the reasons I can't run games like Middle Earth and whatnot. But Biomutant never missed a beat. And it's very demanding on your graphics, on your GPU. I think my GPU at times is maxed out at 95%, but that's because of the optimization they've done. They've made a game look beautiful that plays really well, and you can't ask for any more than that. So you can't, and that means that more people can get it in their hands, no matter the sort of in a time when hardware is short on people. The fact that you can play this already on possibly what you have sitting around just now, plus with the cloud as well, it's a win-win. It's a win-win for everyone. I think the only thing that I would say about that though is the initial price. It's about £55, which is probably close to $70, I would say. That seems a bit steep for a game coming out of a small development studio, but with the mixed reviews, some people's going to think twice about purchasing it, but probably best not to. You're probably best just to listen to the gamers, check the game out for yourself, and yeah, I think it's money well spent, to be honest.
Yeah. And, to say one more thing to, sum up what everyone has said, graphically, if we think about what they've done with this game, I would not be surprised if this compared very well to a PS5 game right now. Next gen PS5 game, that is. And, obviously that's me running it at 4K locally. and I'd be hard pressed if you gave me a screenshot to tell the difference between the two, and that only speaks volumes to the developers. These guys knocked it out of the park visually. I mean, there are a few areas where you're like, okay, that's previous gen, but when you look at the character models, some of the environments, and you're like, wow, and this is at 60 frames per second, 4K, and I'm getting all of this. It's crazy.
It is crazy. And again, I was watching that Horizon Zero Dawn's showcase, and to me, I was just, after playing Biomutant for so long, I was like, I'm not that blown away by this being a next gen game. And I think again it has a lot to say with how great that game looks for a current gen game. Okay, cool. So let's talk about the other 21 games that was released for this platform, right? So King of Seas was one. Again, day and day release in Steam. Maneater, day and day release in Steam. Imagine Earth, same day and day release in Steam. Warhammer Age of Sigma, Stormground. Bad North, Black Desert Online for Turkey. Breath Edge, I don't know if I'm saying that right. Bullet Girls, A Cyber Hook, Dead Smiles, Enlisted, Kill It with Fire. Uh-oh. Last Epoch, I don't know if I'm saying that right. The Legend of Heroes, Trials of Coastal 3, Monopoly Plus, Ubisoft Connect, Necromunda, Steam, Redout, Survivors of Sapphire Wings, Shadowrun, Dragonfall, Trains Railroad Simulator 2019, Valiant Hearts, and that's it. That's it. A lot of freaking games, guys. 22 games in 1 week released on this platform. Again, Biomutant is the highlight, but what's your take on these games? Are you guys satisfied with these games? Do you feel like it's, again, quality over quantity or the other way around? So to get started, what's your take on this week's release on GeForce Now, GTP?
Yeah, I think they did a great job to wrap up the month. I mean, there were a few games that didn't make it, which is the first time that's happened all year, but we've also got other extra games. And I said in my news video, it was just really, Biomutant was just overshadowing to everything for me. So, like, there's a ton of great games on this list. I mean, I know Duncan and Bullet Girls is like absolutely, from what I could tell, but Bad North also has a lot of people that like that game. And again, day and date releases: Steam, Ubisoft Connect, Epic Games Store, native launcher for Enlisted. A lot of people playing that game. So yeah, absolutely, absolutely a great week. I mean, they've just been killing it, honestly, for May. They had a slow couple of months. Gaming is often slow, February, March, April, anyways. But they did miss a couple of releases we would like to see them have. But no, May has been great. And if June, July, August can kind of follow suit, GeForce Now is looking really, really good going into the season.
Cool. Yeah, man. Good stuff for sure. How about you, Duncan? What's your take on the GFN news with 22 games this week?
Yeah, obviously the highlight is the Bullet Girls game. Everybody is absolutely loving that one. No, again, absolutely, the consistency is key with them. And this month, the last, was it April, March and April, I think you were giving them a lot of stick, to be absolutely furious. You didn't like the games which were coming, which is absolutely fine. But they were still knocking out the games. And this month, I think it's went more console-like. You're getting more games which would be on consoles. And as well as the PC titles. On this list, the game, if you haven't played it, is Valiant Hearts: The Great War. If you have not played that one, go play that. And we checked it out there. It's like $2 or something ridiculous on the Ubisoft Connect. It's one of the Ubi Art games, and it is fantastic. Of the other ones, what other ones did I like? I liked actually a couple of them. I know how Monkey's going to talk about Imagine Earth because he's been playing that for years now, and it's because it's been out for absolutely ages. But I think it has been solid, and there's games there for everybody.
Yeah. How about you, Hell Monkey? What's your take on these games? 22 games released in this week.
Yeah, so just to be clear, Duncan, it was in early access for 8 years. But listen, there was 2 guys developed this on their own, just 2 guys. That's it. That's why it's took so long. But you can see it's 2 guys that's developed it because it's so beautiful and it's so well done. And yeah, I can't recommend it, Imagine Earth enough. We talk about quality and quantity, and we've got both this week in spades. So you've got, Biomutant, obviously the big one. King of Seas, although it's not my sort of game, it looks like it could be a lot of people's cup of tea. Maneater, if anyone hasn't tried that, I had a go at it on xCloud. That's a really interesting one. That's something completely different from the normal, and one you can dip in and out of and just have a barrage of fun. Well, I was going to say running around. You swim around as a wee shark. You can get all these mad supersonic powers and things. It's a crazy game. But there's something in there. I probably say this every week, but there's something in there for everyone, and there's a good bit of quality in there as well, I think. And just to reply to Etham's comment in the chat, NVIDIA does care about GFN. I don't know why you think that they don't, but that you kind of threw me off with that a little bit. 22 games. I mean, we're missing 8. And as disappointing as that is, they've still brought 22 more games. Plus, they have the updates for the for installing the DLCs and whatnot on the back ends while the game's still running as well, so that there's less downtime in the games. They're constantly making all these improvements. So I can't complain. I can't complain at all. I think it's a really strong end to the month.
True. Give me TV. Let's get you to. I do want to get to the comments here. I'm seeing some funny stuff on here, but we'll get to there in a bit. But Gamer, what's your take here on these games?
Man, it's super simple. Honestly, I haven't had a chance to try any of them because of Biomutant, but I will, and I'm looking forward to trying Imagine Earth and Valiant Hearts, as Duncan and Hellmonkey just mentioned. I think those games really are great, and I've heard a lot of awesome things about them from people in different communities and personally, people that I know. So I think GFN is pretty much proving its use case. 20 plus games in one, month or week, 1 week. God, gosh, that doesn't even sound right. It doesn't sound right. I can't process that in my own mind to have a platform release 22 games in a week. It is not okay. So, and I say it isn't okay because, good Lord, how do you compete with something like that? You really can't. You really can't. So kudos to GFN. My biggest thing with them is I'd like to know what are their future plans, because we gotta find the path to profitability here, and that's my only fear and concern. I know they have a ton of cash, but they don't have Google cash, right?
True.
Google can sit back and let Stadia take losses and fail and eat at other caps all day, every day, and still hang in there. So GFN, they need to figure something out pretty quickly regarding how they're going to monetize this entire ecosystem that they're building. And it's beautiful. I mean, we can say they'll subsidize it with their hardware sales, but no one really wants to do that. You don't want to, have a cost center eating at a profit center. You just don't want that in business. So, hopefully they can figure it out, because it's a heck of a platform, and God, man, I'm dumbfounded with 22 games. So I'll stop there.
Thanks for the input. Yeah, just it's insane the amount of games that are releasing for this I mean, this is a week, y'all. Some platforms don't even pull out 22 games in a month, right? Again, the numbers are insane, and good stuff overall. But let's check in with the chat. I really want to get into this because I think some people have some good stuff to say. We'll get to Stadia in a bit, but let's open this up to members of the panel. NVIDIA does not care about GFN as much. What would y'all have to say about that? Just open up to anyone.
They do.
Yeah.
I mean, and for reasons that some of us can't even say here, because we are lucky enough to have some conversations, with some of the guys over at GFN or get on a couple of calls or whatever. So while we don't know what the plan is for the future necessarily, and like Gamer's saying, we don't know a lot about what the monetization things will be in the future to become profitable or any of that, we do see through the way they handle content creators, small and large, and the way they work on getting these games, that they do care. Where it's going to go, how long does it last, nobody knows. But they definitely do care about the service, and they are showing that to us behind the scenes all the time. And that's the most I can really say about that. But they do extend a hand out to us and show that they are trying to build the service.
Okay. I'm going to open that up to anyone else who want to say that, but I said that because GFN doesn't want to push it the way Xbox wants to push xCloud.
You can't compare apples with oranges. They're not the same thing. xCloud is a complementary service right now in beta to anyone in the Microsoft Xbox ecosystem. GFN is a complementary service to PC gamers, but it also caters to anyone that maybe hasn't gamed on a PC because they're making it easier and more simple to sync up with libraries. I see these complaints all the time about, it takes too long to get into GeForce now. Why do I need to wait? Well, because you're playing in a free tier. If you pay for the damn service, you're going to get a better service. Like, I'm just so annoyed with comments like this. It really annoys me. I think because GFN's had that free tier for so long, I think people just constantly expect everything for free. I honestly think the best thing that GFN can do is get rid of that free tier altogether, give customers a week's trial, give them the full shebang for a whole week, prove to them that it works, and then you see the value in that $9.99 a month or the $100 per year. It's an absolute steal for the amount of games that you can play on that service. It's ridiculous the amount of games you have.
Okay.
That's all I got to say though.
All right. Anyone else
I mean, I'll say they absolutely care. 22 games in 1 week is caring, 4 games a month, 1 game a week, not a week, sorry, but 1 game a month, 2 games a month. I think you should, really talk about if someone cares if you're dropping 1 to 2 games a month on your platform. GFN, come on, man, 22 in a week, that's care. They wouldn't waste their time on this. And I see, something about graphic card sales. No, GFN doesn't cut into GeForce's graphics, NVIDIA's GeForce's, their graphics card sales. It doesn't cut into that at all. I mean, if you're a snob gamer and you have a ridiculous rig, then you're going to complement that with GFN when you're on the go. You'll set your hard barriers. You'll say, when I'm home, I'll play on my beast of a PC with my NVIDIA graphics card. If I'd like to play upstairs sitting in my bedroom in the bed before I close my eyes, I'll open the iPad with GFN. It's all in the same ecosystem. You aren't going to replace one for the other. It just isn't going to happen. And for the people that can't afford GFN, their latest graphics cards, then I'm sorry, not GFN, but NVIDIA's latest graphics cards, then GFN is an option for them. So that's that's how I see that.
True.
I'm going to ask the panel, how many users are on GFN?
Well, we're over 10 million.
10
now,
million
aren't we?
now.
How do we know that? NVIDIA have came out and shouted it from the rooftops that they have got over 10 million people there. They care about the service. They're bringing out all the stats. They are trying to bolster this service going forward. They would be shouting these numbers from the rooftops if they did not care. And they really are trying to get all the big name people on board again, to get all that going. This is why they're shouting from the rooftops how many hours streamed and all this. They are pushing these numbers out here because they care and they really want this platform to actually push out. And I think over the last number of months, we were all thinking this it's primarily a complementary platform for PC gamers. Over the moves they're starting to make over the last number of months, for me, they're trying to push beyond that. They're trying to get, I'll just call them normal gamers onto it who haven't been PC gamers before. I think they are making some big moves out there, and they are promoting, and we've seen this over the last couple of weeks as well. Logos are going on to things. They're promoting that. It's went out from my head again. That game's coming from Devolver Digital, the Phantom Abyss. That is coming day and date to GFN, which is going to be a big PC game. They are pushing things going forward.
So to talk about this, right? One of the ways GeForce now does care, and one of the ways you know that they care is the fact that they're reaching out to everyone. I can think about big or small, right? They want their service out there. They want their product out there. They're reaching out to YouTubers. They're reaching out to whoever to help them shout out what is going on with the platform, right? A company who doesn't care about their platform is not going to do that. I would even go as far as to say Google they're not doing that. They're not reaching out to YouTubers. They're not reaching. I mean, how many times have we said Google's biggest issue is marketing and PR? GeForce now, I feel like, is killing it. So again, you can see them investing there, and a company that does not care and does not want their platform to succeed will not heavily invest in pushing and marketing their product. But yeah, it's just my take on the situation. But we have so much more to cover. Anyone else want to add to that before we move on to Google Stadia?
I did want to say one last thing, one reason why they have eyes and why they care so much, because a year ago, we wouldn't say they were reaching out to us the same way they are now. They went from 1 million users coming out of beta February 2020 to over 10 million now. When you see that kind of growth in a year, you're going to start looking at that service and paying attention to it, even if you weren't before.
Right. True. Thanks, Lisa. So hopefully that clarified that question. But let's move on to Google Stadia, right? We got some Google Stadia Pro games announced this month. Trying to pull that up now. But yeah, we got Legend of Heroes, Trials of Cold Steel 3. We got MotoGP 20. We have Blue Fire. And we have Chronos Before the Ashes. These are the 4 Google Stadia Pro game. Again, Arc didn't make it this month, but we know that it's coming sometime this summer. What do you take on these 4 pro games? Are you guys excited about it? And yeah, let's just check in with... I don't have Holtz here. Normally I'll start with Holtz because bring some positivity here. But let's start with GTP on this one.
Oh my gosh. So it's good because it's pro games, right? And everybody knows I'm addicted to clicking the claim, but I love the fact that I can click claim all, like boom, I'm done. Like it used to be I had to individually go click them. I click claim all. I've got all my games. I'm good to go.
Wait, you can click claim all?
Yeah, there's a claim all on there. Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh, look. You're like, wait, I've been clicking them individually. No, claim all and you're done. You don't have to think about it. They're in your library even if you never play them. Oh. The Trails of Cold Steel 3, the only thing that got me about that is Cold Steel 4 just went into Luna that I already have. So it's like, but it's great to go in there because you can buy Cold Steel 4 on Stadia, right?
Yeah.
So, okay, so you get to play 3 for free, and then that might spur a sale of 4, which gets me into MotoGP 20. I really wish we weren't missing the year-in-year release with MotoGP 21, which I've been playing on PC since April, because that, again, would have helped with sales, and this would have been a perfect opportunity to give away 20 and have 21 there for sale. And from what we hear, 21's not gonna come at all, and neither is F1 21, and that's disappointing when you see those year. And so that one is like, great, I'm glad it's coming, but I've personally already moved on to 21, and 21's not sitting on Stadia to go purchase and play the brand new game everybody else is playing after I try 20. But Chronos is one I'll actually give a shot. So I never bought that game. I saw some gameplay of it. It's something I wouldn't mind playing on Stadia. So I'll jump in and give that a shot. I'll claim all of these, but it wasn't anything super exciting for me on the pro games.
Okay.
Kind of highlighted a disaster of not getting 21 for me. But
So, it's
sorry,
all right.
it's
Fair
true.
enough. You're good. Again, we love the honesty here. Speak your mind. Speak your mind.
because I play year, like once the new year comes out for me, that's it. Like 21
Same
comes
here,
out for a
same
game.
here.
I'm not,
I'm not-
FIFA, Mad.
yeah.
It doesn't matter what it is. Once
Same
the new one
here.
comes out, that's it for me. So it's
Yeah.
like, if I'm going to be on a platform, I need those games every year. Otherwise, I
True.
don't want to invest there. That's just how it works for me there.
The only way you'll see me going back to playing the previous year game, if it was like NBA 2K where 21 was broken
Yeah.
and 20 was the only
Yeah.
one that worked. But yeah, I hear you. I never go back to playing
Right.
old. Yeah. Cool. Duncan, let's get to you, sir. What's your take on this for pro games? Be
These
nice, Duncan. Be nice.
I am going to be nice.
Okay, cool.
I am going to be nice. I'm always nice.
Is that right?
These 4 games look good on paper.
Okay.
That they look like they're going to cost a bit to actually go and buy if you're going to buy them. But this is the trap we fall into, or a lot of people fall into, the trap between cost and value, or cost and value. Yes, that's the words I'm looking for here. Am I going to play any of these games? I don't think I will. They are the only one which is sort of intriguing me is Blue Fire.
Yeah.
It looks interesting. It's I know a lot of people are saying this is a very, very strong month, but for me it isn't. It looks strong. When we come on to the games which we're going to be talking about, which are coming to Stadia, it's basically the same thing for me. That it looks like it's really, really strong. Well, it's just, for me, it's just meh. We're going back to Luna here. Stadia is not a subscription first model, it is a buy first model. And if these were just getting added to your subscription, I know technically they sort of are with your pro, but you don't count pro as that. I'm just trying to get the right combination of words going here, but I'm not really excited about these games coming because you're paying for them as part of your pro instead of you're subscribing. And I know it's just semantics of a sort, but it just feels to me slightly different, if that makes any sort of sense at all. But again, I know people are really, really excited about the games, and they are free. But for me, it's a meh sort of month.
Okay, fair enough. How about you, Gaming TV? What's your take on these games?
Well, man, I kind of agree with Duncan and Jerry. I'm baffled by the MotoGP drop. It's interesting to me. It just kind of highlights the fact that 21 isn't on the platform, because you go look for it. If you like MotoGP, you're going to go look for 21. You're like, I want to play the latest and greatest. That's sort of like if they drop Madden 20 or NBA 2K20 on Pro, you're like, okay, this is cool. Where's 21? Let me go there, and you won't touch 20 again. So that's kind of how I see that. The only game that interests me is Blue Fire. I think that has potential to be a quick jump in, jump out. Let me see what this is about. But it isn't a purchase for me at all. And if it wasn't a pro game, I probably wouldn't touch it, honestly. But yeah, it's pretty weak in my opinion. And this month, I don't know. I think Rainbow Six Siege is dropping on Stadia this month, if I'm correct. I think I'm more so looking forward to something like that versus the pro games.
Okay, fair enough. How about you, Monkey? What's your take on these 4 pro games?
Yeah, it's not as strong as the previous months. So we've got Jedi Fallen Order, and before that was Resident Evil 7, but that was leading up, to Resident Evil Village release. Do you know what I'm thinking, by the way? Just in terms of the missing MotoGP 21, it'd be completely, it'd be a Stadia thing to drop 21 in the middle of the month, just out the blue with no warning, because for some strange reason they seem to think that's a good thing to do. Other than that, I don't see why MotoGP 20 is on Pro. Chronos and Blue Fire are two games that you would say you could have probably highlighted for Pro. Two games I'm probably going to play and I'm probably going to enjoy. But just I'd like to allude to Duncan's sort of, image of what the Pro subscription is. I think a lot of people, they expect it to be like Game Pass. So I'm paying X amount each month. I'm going to get all the games that's been on Pro, but that's not the way it works. You have to claim it. And I think that's what confuses a lot of people. Like, if you don't claim it, you don't have access to it. If Stadia had the model that I am paying £10 a month and every game that's ever been Pro stays there, I don't need to claim it. They're just there for me in this big, huge library. Then I think it's a good month. But because of the way it works and because of what we've had before, it's pretty poor. It's sort of underwhelming. But we're coming in a month where we're hoping to see some new game releases. And maybe they've got something in the works. I hope they've got something in the works, because it's been a pretty poor month, in my opinion, Stadia-wise. For a new platform, they've not brought a lot of games this month. We can't get them all the time, but they're not really filling the library up as much as I would like.
Yeah. So I agree, right? These 4 games are probably not the best games, right? But can we be real when we say, let's give them a little slack, right? I mean, last month we got Fallen Jedi. The previous month we got Resident Evil 7, right? I mean, yes, these are not the greatest. Here's what I was thinking too, right? The whole Ark fiasco. I think Ark was supposed to release this month. Just a speculated guess, because you look at what they said on Twitter, right? Ark, I think, was supposed to be a game that was released this month, or probably even sooner than that. And I think these are fillers, potentially, right, to do with that game missing. But I think, again, if we see another month of week games, then, we can, I don't know, I feel like they should get a little break this month, right? They gave us Star Wars last month. They gave us Resident Evil the previous months. And I agree with MotoGP, what the hell is 21? But these games are not the greatest, but they're good enough games to be titled Pro. That's just my take. Not the greatest games, right? But good enough. And again, if we look back at the last 2 previous months, I feel like they should get cut some slack.
No, I think you've summed it up there. I think we're all.
Okay.
What my point was, I know people are really, really excited about these games, and that I forget the JRPG game. I know a load of people are excited about that one dropping on the Pro, but if the games aren't for you, the games aren't for you. It's just like you with the GFN week months as well, where we were all positive about GFN and you were saying, no, it's rubbish. Games are just so subjective.
That's true.
I don't think it is a bad month, but I don't think it is as great as people are maybe making out in different places. I think it's a meh month. It's okay. It's nothing. It's not knocking the doors down or anything like that, but it's not absolutely scandalously bad. The games just aren't for me this month.
Okay, true. Yeah. And again, go ahead, gamer.
I mean, I think, like you said, and okay, we'll give them a pass because they knocked it out of the park last month and whatnot, and the month before that. But their competitors, cloud space competitors, these guys are bringing things monthly that we're like, oh wow, okay, this is pretty cool. In June, I just don't see what's coming that'll make me feel any type of way about Stadia moving forward. I mean, now I'm not on the bandwagon to say, oh, doom and gloom or something's, they aren't going to make it or this or that. But I am saying, man, we need more information. We need to know that you guys will stick around for the future here. I'm pretty certain GFN will be there. I'm pretty positive Luna will be there. But Stadia, you guys have to give us something. You give us something more than what we've already heard or what we know that's coming.
Bro, you're not excited for Sega Summer Olympics, bro? Are you kidding me?
Oh, dude, I already pre-ordered my Sonic skin.
There
Are you crazy?
No,
Yeah,
but
I was going to say the elephant in the room of Stadia, and it was a wee Twitter thread which kicked off yesterday. Yes, I was on Twitter being naughty, apparently. The How many games were brought to Stadia since Resident Evil at the beginning of the month?
you mean releases after
Yes.
Resident Evil?
4.
Yes.
4 games total?
Yeah. Yep. You've got Street Power Football, 100 days. And if you're being a bit generous here, you would say Power Rangers Battle for the Grid Super Duper Funky Edition, and that was that is it since Resident Evil dropped. Stadia is a paid for platform as you're buying games. That number of games in what date it's in May is really slacking, and I think you can't beat around that. I know people were asking me how many games. Oh, that's all right. No one else brought many games, and I just looked up quickly. Xbox brought 70 games in May, and that's not even including the wee tiny indie games which you have to go looking for. This is what Stadia is up against because they're a paid platform. If it was a subscription-based service and they dropped 4 or 5 games a month, things would be okay. Just like we were saying, Luna's not had a bad month there because they've been consistently dropping the games. It's because it's part of the sub. But Stadia is a paid platform, and they've only dropped them games in May. And that is a bit of a worry. I know we're with what is overshadowed is their game announcements for later in the year, which is absolutely great. But it needs to be a couple more games coming.
Okay, I hear you 100% with that. So here's my biggest thing with Stadia right now. Because I was really concerned. I was like, after Resident Evil, what's next for this platform? And you can see with some recent announcements, right? We see that June is going to be okay. Not the best, but okay, right? Rainbow Six is coming. For Honor is coming. We have the Sonic Olympics possibly coming. And we know that they're probably going to still drop some games. Here's my thing with Stadia, man. Like, if you know these games are coming, why are they waiting for like the devs? I just don't get that whole breakdown. Why do we have to find out that Rainbow Six is coming from Ubisoft, right? And their what was it?
Investors
Call. Why aren't they announcing these games? People are like, what's coming for July? To this day, I don't know what Stadia has for July, right? And so if they know these games are in the works, for instance, we saw the trailer for Far Cry 6. We knew that was coming, but like, I don't know, just let people know what's on the horizon instead of people having to speculate. Like, I'm okay with June now because I know, these games are coming. Again, we didn't hear it directly from them, but again, we know they're coming, but what's for July? And I think that's a question a lot of people have that we still don't have answers to. But Stadia themselves, I'm sure they know what's coming. But I feel like by letting people know early, again, people can know to pre-order the game for Google Stadia instead of going elsewhere to buy it too. That's another issue. But I would say right now, that's my biggest gripe with Stadia, man. What is coming for you guys? Let us know, man. Let us know.
Logo get, and more logo get, and I think
Yeah.
I am concerned for the next couple of weeks. I think we're going to get what we're going to come on to, obviously, with the Olympics news. That Sega event, I think, is going to sum up how Stadia is going to be seen throughout the E3 season. They're going to have a logo here, a logo there, but they're not going to have logos on all the games, because how many people were actually disappointed with Sonic not coming to Stadia? Okay, rephrase.
It still might come, though.
It still might come. But there's already people going, Sonic's not coming to Stadia. I'm going to have to maybe get this on another platform. I have to start looking like we've had with F1. This is the problem. If you don't put the logos on there, people will start questioning.
Elsewhere, I agree.
Yeah. And we've seen this throughout the community here, and we've seen more people over the last couple of weeks because they've been getting them into stock. People have jumped ship. When you go onto the new consoles, going back to Stadia is hard for some of the games. It is really hard.
Yeah, true.
Yep.
True. Go ahead, gamer.
No, I was just agreeing. It is extremely hard. That's why, Jerry and I, we always say this, right? Hey, man, if Stadia is your only place to play the game, then stay there with it. Do not go experience it somewhere else. If you do that, you will truly see the shortcomings of not just Stadia in general, but cloud gaming and where it should sit within the priority list of your gaming life, per se. I mean, I'm not the one to dictate that, but I am saying there is an order regarding what you'd like to experience. If convenience is your thing, then yeah, go cloud all day. But if you truly want the experience intended by the developers, you're going to go local. I mean, that's just what it is. There are small nuances available locally that you just don't get in some cloud platforms. GFN, I think they're the closest, or no, not even that. Shadow, they're probably the closest, but I'm speaking in more of a mainstream perspective than I'd say GFN. They're super close with their technology, although they need to get the 4K rolling and increase the bit rates a little bit. I noticed, I know we can change them, but I noticed a little artifacting that I hadn't seen in Biomutant, elsewhere. So get it all together. But if you really want that experience, go local. I mean, that's just what it is.
True. All right, let's talk about these two games coming this month for the Google Stadia platform: Control, the Ultimate Edition, and Olympic Games Tokyo 2020. That's quite interesting. It's not 2020 anyway. Those are the two games coming for the Google Stadia platform. Just checking with you guys. Gonna open this up. How excited are you guys for these two games coming to the platform?
0.
Damn, not even 3, not even 5.
I mean, man, look, hey, man, how many times can I play Control? I mean, I've played Control like 6 times, and in the cloud, I played it on xCloud, I played it on Luna, I played it on J. I'm done with Control. I'm done.
But what would you say for the people who haven't experienced Control, though?
Well, see, for them, it's the same thing. Then, hey, you'll love it. Go enjoy it. It's a great game. But for everyone that experienced it already, and I think most people probably have, the game has been out for a pretty long time now. So, for me, I'm good. I'm like, hey, I can. No need to pick up my Stadia controller for this.
Yeah, if you really wanted to play Control, you would have played it by now. That's my thoughts anyway.
No, but I read the forums. I read Reddit. The people who haven't experienced this game that are really excited to experience in Stadia, because the game is really brilliant.
Yeah.
Right. And
Yeah, it's a
Stadia
good
might not
game.
be like the best place against gonna be missing the RTX, but I feel like if it's anything like Luna, it's still a decent experience. So what would you say to those people?
Well, if you really wanted to play Control, you would have played it by now, like because it's been on GFN for how long?
But realistically, the Stadians are mostly exclusive to Stadia. They're probably not
Well,
gonna
but
pick up GFN to play this, right?
well, then they're doing themselves a disservice, then, aren't they? Localizing themselves to one place when there's a whole world out here. Like that I think that's what holds Stadia back at times, is the community goes nuts for certain games because they haven't played them. I'm like, well, if you really wanted to play these games, you would have played them by now. You know, the Olympics game though, I think looks pretty interesting. I think I'm going to have some fun with that. Um,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that looks like a kind of a good solid couch co-op game with the family. You know, a little bit of competitive edge with your siblings and whatnot. You know, the kind of arcade styles it's pretty nice as well. It looks like it's a pretty well done game.
Yeah.
Um,
And they have an online component too. Don't know if it's going to be
yeah,
cross-platform play, but I mean,
that's the
I'm
thing that I want to see,
yeah,
cross-platform play with a game like that.
yeah.
Definitely.
I mean, is State Share a part of Control or no?
We don't know.
Yeah,
Nothing.
see,
Just nothing
something
yet.
like that would entice me to jump back in if we
Ooh,
had
that's a
some
good
sort of
point.
state share or
That's a
whatever.
good
But
point.
and that's how I view this entire thing, man. People are like, as long as Stadia bring the AAA games, day and date, et cetera, we're good. No, you're not good. Because we have other options and other places to play these games. And when you compare them, Stadia's version just doesn't hold up a lot of times. I mean, it's cool, but is it better than a competitor's version of the game? 9 times out of 10, it is not. But if you're the Stadian who's locked into the platform and you love it, then it's great for you, right? But for everyone else, then we just see it as okay, it's cool.
Yeah, you know what? GMR makes a good point there. I think Stadia, with the features that they can implement, your crowd choice, your crowd play, your state share, they could bring some really good old games, and give them a new lease of life and give people something else to experience, something new to experience with some pretty good games that have came out over the last couple of years.
So that's a good point. Again, like imagine this state share with a game like Resident Evil 7, right?
Yeah.
Just having people like help you, tell you where to go, where not to go, help you make decisions as you are, playing games. You're right. They can make old games feel different and in a way new for Google Stadia as a platform.
Yeah.
But yeah, yeah,
What, me?
go ahead, GTV.
I'll jump in your lane, Ace. I'll come with you.
Okay.
So what you're asking here is for people who are exclusively Stadia, they don't play
Yes.
anywhere else. That's their platform.
Yeah.
For me, I can't live like that. There isn't a single cloud service out there that offers enough games, that has all
Yes.
the releases. That's why I have to play everywhere. Not that Stadia doesn't play a lot of those games great, but they don't have every release that the consoles or the PCs have or whatnot. And that's every cloud service, and that's just going to be the way it is. But if you're a Stadia person, if that's just where you play and that's it, and you never experienced Control, it was 2019 Game of the Year. Like Gamer TV said, I think I've beat it 6 times. I've played it all over the place, and I loved it. Thank you, Remedy. I mean, Alan Wake, Quantum Break, and Control are 3 games that I actually took the time to beat. I beat them multiple times and loved them. So if you are a person that hasn't experienced it, you'll love the game. My question is pricing, because it is an older game. Stadia has done pretty good at bringing those games for a sale. Like I remember when Star Wars came out, it was $23, not 60 like at release, So we'll see what kind of price they throw at it. But like how Monkey said, if you really wanted to play this game, most gamers have. But if you're a Stadia only person, I could see you being really excited for it because this is a game that you want to play. The Olympics, I'm with you. It's okay to delay a game, but let's change the year. I don't care what legal hoops you have to jump through. I said in my news video, it freaks me out. There's no need for a 2020 game in 2020. Just change the year. Just change the last number and make me happy with it, because I feel like I'd be buying an old game. And that's just, it's a mental thing. I have an issue. It's 2021. I don't want to buy 2020 games. But it was delayed, and henceforth they didn't change the name. But another good grad, though, if they can have that day and date.
Okay. Yeah. Anyone else?
That'll be me. That will be me now. Shall I start positive or should I start negative? We'll go negative to start off with, and we'll end on the positive. Control is a game where people are going to say they've played it and completed it. I'm not getting at you, GTP. I'm not getting at you. It's one of these games where people like to say that they've played and they've loved and all this sort of carry on. I don't think it's going to sell well. I think it's going to, people are going to say that they've played it and bought it, but it's one of these games. I've got a couple of copies of it now because I keep on meaning to play it, and I never get round to it because it just doesn't have the hook for me at this moment in time. I'm honest enough to say these sort of things. So Control coming for me was not a shocker. I think it was nailed on. It was just a matter of time because it's been on everything. It's on Luna. It's on GeForce now. It was on PlayStation. It was on basically absolutely everything. So it wasn't a shock. The good news for me, so I'm going into the good. See, I'm finishing on the positive, is the Olympics Games coming. I think that was not a major thing. It's just the way we talk over here. We say brilliant and all this sort of stuff. This was a real good get for them coming day and date as well. They need the day and date on the third-party titles, as many as possible. This is a sports title, which is even better. They're getting a day and date. The cross-play is going to be what makes or probably breaks this title if you're going to be playing multiplayer, because I don't see that many people buying the game. But if it's crossplay, be brilliant. And just like you've been saying for Control, could you imagine if they put crowd choice in this and all that sort of stuff, or crowd choice and crowd play in the Olympics game? That would be a winner as well.
Sure.
For Control, what I hope what happens, I hope it goes straight into Pro.
Yeah.
That would make a really great pro game. Really great pro game, seriously. And if you were to charge for it no more than $20, because it's a very old game, and like a lot of people, I mean, it's on Game Pass. You can pretty much play that game anywhere. It's on Luna, for freak's sakes, right? Anyway, yeah, so I'm really excited for this Olympic game coming. I feel like it's a good filler. I think Stadia kind of lacks sports. I mean, we got FIFA, we got Madden now, but and NBA, but we're still missing like MLB and the hockey game.
Now, is it really sports though?
It's
It's Olympic Games. It's all sports.
I mean,
It's got football in it.
How great can it be, man?
it's arcadey sports, but it's
okay,
sports
like Wii
enough.
Sports.
Yeah.
Okay, it's Wii Sports for Stadia.
I think overall, sorry. I think overall though, this is a good family fun game, and I think, you know, this is a good get overall for the, especially because it's bringing local couch co-op. I mean, that has my attention for sure.
And that Sonic skin.
Yeah. There you go. All right, so let's anyone else for Stadia now, but just want to bring this up before we move on. Ghost Recon is getting another sorry. It's getting another free week play for this go ahead, Monkey.
Just on the Ghost Recon front, that's free to play everywhere else, but for Stadia you have to pay for Pro to play it for free.
Oh.
Does that make any sense? Why can't it just make it free for everyone like it is everywhere else? I don't understand that. They're sort of locking it behind a subscription.
I've said this before, and I will still say it. I have no problem with that. Just a lot. as a Stadia Pro perk of a sorts. Obviously, yes, in an ideal world, it would be free on it, but I understand it. I don't think it's too much of a bad thing. I would prefer it to be free for everybody. I know they've done it before for a game which slips my mind. Was it Borderlands? Maybe they had.
No, Elder Scrolls, I think, didn't
It
come
was
out of that.
was it Elder
Hitman
Scrolls?
level was free for everyone, and then they
Yeah,
put Elder Scrolls behind Pro. That
yeah.
was on the same
Oh,
week.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I've not much of an issue with them putting it behind Pro, from a business sort of standpoint. I would not want it there. I'm just making that clear. I wish it wasn't there, but I completely and utterly understand it, and for me, it's not too much of a thing.
I am just really concerned about how many times we've seen this game as a free-to-play game, right? This in Borderlands is like how many of these I mean, if people want the game by now, they would have purchased it, right?
Yeah.
This is I don't get why they keep choosing these. There's so many other games they can choose to, you know, I don't know. I have the question why these two games just always seem like the two games that just keep being displayed for test out Google Stadia. Is it the Stream Connect feature they're trying to showcase, or I don't know. But I just hope, I wish they would change the games out for the free to play weekend. There goes my camera. Dang, I thought I was gonna make it through. Got so close to, but anyway, that's my gripe with this, man. They need to pick other games and anyone else before we just move on to xCloud.
I think they've just got a lack of games they can really show this off with. Game not they can't chuck out a couple of these games because people could clock them over the weekend, and so it is just they have to pick and choose. NBA would be one. FIFA, Madden, it's sports titles.
So here's my question, right? They demoed Stadia with a single player focus game with Assassin's Creed Odyssey, right? Why aren't they demoing single player focus game like Valhalla would be a great game, right? It runs like crap on Stadia, but realistically speaking, why don't they showcase like showcase single player games? Let people play games that they actually might be interested. Imagine like seeing a game that you might want, like Red Dead Redemption single player focus. Some people might even sign up for Pro just to play this game on Google Stadia. I'm just saying, right? Showcase a single player focused game that Doom Eternal, even though Microsoft owns that now, but like games like that, showcase games that people will actually want to play, not freaking Costa Recon Breakpoint. It's my thing, man. I just don't get why this game keeps popping up with a free to play. It's crazy.
I have two gripes with this entire thing. Well, maybe three, but I'll leave it at two. Number one, like you said, Ghost Recon. Choose a different game. But then locking it behind Pro. I know, Duncan, you say that you're okay with it, but that isn't what you want, and I agree with you. But locking it behind Pro only caters to existing, Pro members. I don't believe Stadia is pulling in a new audience, locking it behind Pro. But then why do we know the week of? Like, it's just weird. Like, if you're trying to grow the platform, you'd blast this out to the world like a month beforehand. Hey, or 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever it is. We have Ghost Recon. Come play it in a different way, conveniently through the cloud, Stream Connect, an entirely different way to play. And it's free to play. Just go to stadia.com and click play.
Market it.
Send it out. Let it saturate a little bit. But you tell us, it's locked behind Pro, but if you're already a Pro member and you're interested in Ghost Recon, it's so old right now.
Go.
We would have
There you go. I'm glad you said that, and that was gonna be my next thing. Most Pro members probably already own this game, so who are they trying to cater with this promotion? It's crazy. You hit it right in the head with that for sure. All right, cool. So let's wrap Stadia up, man. Let's move on to xCloud. not a lot to talk about with xCloud. Just several games releasing for this platform this week. Actually, I don't even know if these are xCloud games. I'll let you talk to the games. Tell Monkey you did videos. What xCloud games were
Yeah.
released in the platform this week?
So this week we got Mania, Conan Exiles, Fusion Frenzy, and
Okay.
Joyride Turbo. Them four accompanied the last week's other four games. So yeah, I mean, I like what xCloud do. They give us every 2 weeks. We get like two handfuls of games, announced, and they space them out throughout the 2 week period. Yeah, Man Eater's a really good game. I really like it. The other three I'm not too fussed about. They're not my cup of tea, but next week they're going to announce another 8 or 10 games, and there'll be something there for me. There usually always is.
So if you compare this game, again, GeForce now killing it with 22 games, but let's just be real and compare it to the games released this week for other platforms. How would you guys rate these four games here? Again, Conan Exiles, Man Eater, Fusion Frenzy. By the way, if you guys haven't played that game, it's for the original Xbox. One of the games that I spent a lot of time in with my family when Xbox One released. Good, fun party game. Don't know how it plays today, but it was fun back then. But how would you rate this game compared to what other people are putting out this week? Decent, not so good.
Pretty weak to me.
Okay.
I mean, I think it's
Good.
all in line.
Good. Okay. I'm glad you guys, because again, this is probably a weak week, right? If we are being honest with Game Pass, Xbox Cloud gaming games. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, 2 weeks' time, I think we're going to be talking, or sorry, 2 weeks, 1 day's time, we're going to be,
Yes, sir.
I think we're not going to hear, I think we're going to get, I will say this in nicest way possible, mediocre, maybe announcements over the next couple of days for the month ahead. And that when they do their conference, I think xCloud is going to be mentioned, and we may hear about the new blades and some of the bangers coming to xCloud. Battlefield, Touchwood.
Dude, that event is gonna, again, if it's anything like the previous events where most of the games announced there were like what's coming to Game Pass or the cloud, they're gonna show a lot of brilliant stuff, and it's gonna be pretty cool. Again, pay attention to the Series X Blade. Might not be like same day release there and then, but possibly a date of when we might see that, be a thing, because we know it's in testing right now. So again, pay close attention to that event. It's gonna be pretty cool, right? Anyone else with these games in xCloud? No one else? That's it.
Is it?
Yeah, it's pretty soft, man.
It was
Yeah,
it was a strong week
is
for
a-
Game Pass because we got
Yeah.
Knockout City, we got Mech Warrior 5. There's been other games thrown in there. It was a good Game Pass week for
Okay.
Ultimate for PC and console.
Right.
But for the games that got thrown to the cloud, it wasn't as exciting as they've had, like prior weeks before. But Maneater's the highlight if you're going to highlight any of them.
Right.
But I mean, I beat that last year when it was an Epic Game Store exclusive for last summer. But
Right.
again, it's about a 15-hour game if you go through it. It's a lot of fun. But and it seems to be running pretty good nextcloud as well. I've been playing a little bit there.
Yeah, so can I ask you a question? This game that everyone, Knockout City, that everyone's talking about, is it a disappointment that it didn't make it to xCloud? This is a game that I felt like would have been great on xCloud. No?
Yeah,
Yes?
it would have been great. I didn't expect it because it came from the EA Play side, I believe it was, for everything there. So I didn't really expect it to be cloud, at least off the bat. But yeah, absolutely. Especially today when I was doing some stuff, I had my iPad with me away from the house. I was like, man, I have a few minutes. I would jump into Knockout City if
Right.
xCloud was, but I didn't want to jump on Shadow or anything because it's not a cross save thing. So I was like, I don't want to start over. But yeah, it would have been really cool. I didn't have my other Xbox plugged into Game Stream. So yeah, it would have been nice to have it in the cloud. I would have liked it.
Okay.
If it wasn't 30 FPS, which it's going to be right now. That's the other problem. I think with the Series X blades, we can get more games. I don't think Knockout City at 30 FPS on a 1S blade would have been a good experience anyway, but I still would have jumped in.
So is it
So
30 is 60 right now on whatever you played on?
4K 60 easily on the Series X. PC more than that. You have unlimited frame rate on PC, so I could play way higher on there. But like I said, my save, I'm really maining it on Xbox. But yeah, it's super smooth. I mean, the 1S or the Series X, it's absolutely amazingly smooth.
You know, good point with that, because again, if they bring this game at 30 for xCloud and you're playing against people at 60, you are at a disadvantage, and that's gonna suck. But yeah, okay. Did this game release on the Series S?
Yeah.
Okay.
Knockout?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Huh. All right. Interesting.
I
And
know you've
again-
been looking at. I know you said you're not going to get any, but I already know you've been looking at consoles and stuff. Every time me and Chase talk about 120 FPS, 60 FPS, all
Can
this
I
other
be
stuff.
real
you
with
said-
you right now? This might play. I actually have two Series S right here and the
Oh,
Series
no.
X right here.
I don't know how you can't just not open one up and start playing.
Yeah, it's just I have no desire, but but
You
yeah,
have good willpower.
yeah. But yeah, anyone else for this xCloud news? No. Okay, cool. Well, next week we've done it all. I think perfect time, and spend a lot of time on Luna and Stadia, but I feel like it was well deserved. But next week we should have the normal panel with Holtz and Ben possibly here. So it'll be good. I feel like these weeks coming are going to be quite interesting, especially for the month of June, for gaming, cloud gaming as a whole too. So stay tuned. We're going to have a lot to talk about for sure. But just want to give members a chance to plug in the channels and tell people what they do, so you can go find them. So Duncan, what do you do, sir, and where can people find you?
You can find me over at Cloudy with Games, and we give roundups of all the news. We've got a couple of shows. We're starting to really push out gameplay footage now of all the different platforms. So we're just having a lot of fun. So go check out Cloudy with Games.
Okay, cool. Good to have you on here, Duncan. How about you, GTP? What do you do? Where can people find you?
Yeah, guys, simple enough. Game Tech Planet on YouTube, at Game Tech Planet on Twitter, and console, cloud, PC, pretty much anything I can do. And June is definitely going to be awesome, because that's when we find out what's really happening for the rest of the year with everybody. So it's like my Christmas for June.
It's awesome. Cool. Gamer TV, what do you do, sir, and where can people find you?
Yeah, so I pretty much just pop out short, quick videos, quick looks, quick reviews, quick opinions on gaming things. You can find me on Twitter, GMRTV Plus, and the same for YouTube.
Awesome. And Hell Monkey, what do you do, sir? Where can people find you?
Sorry, I was just closing our Hitman 3 giveaway competition. Taking
Did
the links
anyone
away.
find it?
Yeah, there's a good few people who found it, so we're gonna run that, and we'll announce the winner of that tomorrow at some point in a Discord. The winner will be contacted via email, just to let you guys know. And thank you to everyone that participated. All the website views went through the roof because there was a giveaway going. So if you would all kindly come back and take a look at it on a regular basis, that would be great. And just look out for me report the news throughout the week. As soon as anything drops, I am straight on it, as and when I can. And great show, guys. Really good show tonight.
Awesome. Good to have you guys all on here. And viewers, thank you for watching. Appreciate you guys. We'll be back here next Saturday, 2 p.m. PST. And yeah, look forward to having Holtz back in here so I can have a buddy, to talk Stadia with, man. But yeah, appreciate this panel. Appreciate you guys watching. We'll catch you guys in the next one. Till next time, fellas. Peace out.